हाय गाइस, आज मैं आप लोगों के साथ एक स्टोरी शेयर करने वाली हूँ। तो चलिए स्टोरी को स्टार्ट करते हैं बिना टाइम वेस्ट किए। माई अर्ली होम। आई रिमेंबर माई फर्स्ट होम क्लियरली. It was on a large meadow with a pond of clear water in it. From one side of it, we could see a plugged field, and from the other, our master's house. There was a line of trees at the top of this meadow and a running brook at the bottom. When I was young, I lived on my mother's milk, and I was too young to eat grass. In the daytime, I ran by her side, and at night, I lay down close to her. When I was older and could graze, my mother went to work in the daytime and came back in the evening. There were 6 other young colts with me. Some of them were as big as grown up horses. I ran and galloped with them and had great fun. Sometimes we played rough games, for we would bite and kick when we galloped. One day, my mother went to me. I want you to listen to me carefully. These are very good calls, no doubt, but they are cart horse calls, and so they are not well bred. You are well bred colt. Your father has a great name in these parts, and your grandfather won the cup 2 years at the races. And did you at any time see me bite or kick? I want you to learn to grow up gentle and good and not learn bad ways. Do your work well, lift your feet high up when you trot, and don't bite or kick in play. I have never forgotten what my mother told me. She was a wise old horse, and our master thought well of her. Her name was Duchess. Our master was a good, kind man. He gave us good food and spoke kindly. He talked to us, and he talked to his children. All of us liked him, and my mother loved him very much. She would neigh with joy and trot up to him when she saw him. He would pat her and stroke her and say, "Well, my dear pet, how is your little darky?" And that was me. I was black all over. All the horses would go up to him, but I think he loved my mother and me best. My mother always carried him to the town on market days. Old Daniel, his servant, looked after the horses. He was as gentle as our master, and we were very happy. Before I was 2 years old, something happened that I will never forget. One day, I and the other colts were grazing in the lower part of the field. Suddenly, we heard the cry of dogs in the distance, so all of us cantered off the upper part of the field. From here, we could see far away across many fields. My mother and another of my master's horses were also standing near. "They have found a hare," said my mother, "and if they come this way, we can see the hunt." Soon the dogs came, tearing down the neighboring wheat field, "Woo!" howling at the top of their voices. After them came a number of men on horseback, galloping as fast as they could. We wanted to gallop with them, but they were soon away from the fields below, and here we thought they stopped. The dogs were not barking anymore and ran about with their noses to the ground. "I think the hare will go free. They have lost her." "What hare?" I said. "Oh, it may be one of the horses on our farm." "I don't know, but any hare will do for them. They only want to run after." Soon the dogs began their "yoo" again. Back they all came, running fast, and went straight near the brook. "Now we can see the hare," said my mother, and just then a frightened hare ran by. It was going straight to the field, full of trees. On came the dogs, jumping over the brook into the field. 6 or 8 men followed, and they took a clean leap over the brook. Close behind the dogs, the hare could not get through the thick fence, and she turned around quickly to make for the road. But it was too late. The dogs were upon her. We heard one sharp cry, and that was the end of her. One of the hunters rode up, pushed the dogs away with the whip, and held the hare up by the leg. It was torn and blood flowed out of the poor animal. The gentleman looked pleased. I was very much astonished by all this, and I did not see at first what had happened near the brook. But when I did see, it was something sad. 2 fine horses were down. One was kicking its legs in the brook, and the other was groaning on the grass. One of the riders got out of the water covered with mud. The other lay on the ground and did not move. His head is broken, said my mother. I never can understand, she continued, why men are so fond of this game. They often hurt themselves or the horses, and all for a hare or a fox or a deer. But we are only horses, and and there is so much we know nothing about. We stood there and looked on. Some of the riders had We stood there and looked on. Some of the riders had gone to the young man on the ground and tried to lift him. His head fell back and his hands hung down, and everybody looked very serious. There was no noise now. Even the dogs were quiet. They carried him to our master's house. So guys, आज की वीडियो यहीं पे ख़त्म होती है. अगर आपको ये स्टोरी आगे भी जाननी है तो मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और उसके पास वाले बेल आइकन को क्लिक कीजिए. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए, और आपको ये वीडियो कैसा लगा मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइएगा, और इसे अपने फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन लोगों को भी तो कुछ स्टोरी सुनने मिले ना. इसीलिए बाय गाइस, मीट यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो.